But first on the agenda, today's Sun newspaper has reported that Tony Paul, wife of footballer John Terry, has reportedly turned to Victoria Beckham for advice on what to do next following the allegations last week that the Chelsea captain had been unfaithful in their marriage. At the weekend, it was also announced that Ronnie Wood's ex, Jo, will be dishing out weekly advice to the readers of Fabulous magazine as their new resident agony aunt. So, when it comes to giving guidance to our friends, do you worry that you're giving the right or sound advice, ladies?
Well, having gone through something similar many years ago myself, I don't like to harp on about it. Well, I do.
As a woman scorned,
yes, as a woman scorned. So having been there, I do know... The one thing I never did was ask our friends, as in our friends as a couple, I never asked them for any information or do you know this or do you know that, because I thought they'll lie. They'll have to lie because they're his
putting
friends.
them in an awkward position.
Terrible. And if they said no, I wouldn't believe them anyway. My closest friends, I got some great advice from, one of them being, you know, don't make any rash decisions, because when it first happens to you, obviously, you get terribly, your pride's hurt, you're getting all this advice, you should leave him, you should leave him. It's all very well giving that kind of advice, but you're not the one that's, you know, you're the one that's in love with that person. You know, you're the one that's going to bed on your own at night and crying yourself to sleep. So now, I am very much in a... I would rather really listen to somebody and be the shoulder for them to cry on. But I wouldn't immediately go, this is what you should do. You should do this, that, and that, because I think ultimately it has to be their decision. And if you're a good friend, you'll accept whatever decision they make.
We don't know if any of what's been reported is actually true. We don't even know if John Terry has for sure been unfaithful. But what was the advice that you had from your friends when you were that woman?
Well, you know, initially, I suppose from family and that, because they're hurt for you, it's like, well, I hope you're going to leave him and kick him out and this, that and the other. But when you've been with someone a long time, and especially when there's kids involved, it's really not that simple. And also, as angry as I was when I first found out, you know, I still loved him. So it's very hard to just switch that off. And my best friend, Carol, she was the one that actually said to me, please don't make any decisions based on pride, because your pride will subside. You know, give it even in a few hours, or even if it takes a couple of weeks, your pride will go and the love will still be there initially.
And the anger goes.
Yeah, and the anger goes. But I have to say that counselling really, really, really saved me, because it was... When people say, well, what is it? It's just talking to a stranger. You can do that with your friends. The difference is your friends do have an opinion because they love you. The counsellor doesn't. It's her job. And she's so logical, because I think you lose all sense of logic when you go through any sense of trauma. Your logic goes out the window. And she was so logical. And eventually she got me to be logical about the situation, and that helped me such a lot. So counselling was what did it for me.
See, affairs of the heart, they're just so not black and white, are they? And maybe that is what you need. Is Coleen right there? Is it sometimes easier to go to somebody that's just going to give it to you in
I think
plain
it
terms?
can be, actually, yeah. I think it can be. I think the thing is, if you've had a very varied life and quite a lot of experience, you know, as we have, and perhaps women of our age have, I think it's easy for people to imagine, you know, you've got some kind of plan that you live to, you know, because of this experience, because you've set up your life out and you've followed your plan, you know, that you have got this, you've acquired a wisdom. And to an extent, I think, you know, you do, don't you? But... at the same time, I don't know, I've never had a master plan in my life. My life, I bet you're the same, it's kind of followed a pattern. It's just followed on, one thing after another. And now I've got a teenage daughter who's starting to come to me for advice. And we're a lot alike, Chloe and I. We really are very similar. I kind of know what's coming because I've been there. And it's difficult because, on the one hand, I want her to have all the experiences I never had. But at the same time, I know she's going to be in trouble if she does. So I've got to try and tell her how I think she'll feel if she makes a certain decision or goes in a certain direction. I try and say, well, yes, love, that's fine if you want to do it that way, but just watch out, because it might make you feel not happy about yourself, not proud of yourself, or, you know, that might be just... You know, well, do it, but beware.
If anybody wants any advice on relationships, don't come to me. Because I'm absolutely rubbish at it, aren't I, really? And I get worried when people come and ask me advice. What do you think I should... I thought, what are you asking me for? You know, because my track record, I wouldn't know a good man if he hit me over the head with a kipper. I swear.
That's where you're wrong, because you
now.
would, because you've got all the
All that
stripes that you've earned in the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Kissing a lot of frogs before you found your prince.
I've had a pond full of frogs. But my biggest advice is to sit and just listen, because if you find... I've learned that off my mother, actually, because she's a fantastic listener, and if I've got a problem and I go to my mum and I'm going, and blah, 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 it's all coming out and I'm eating my baked potato, whatever it is, because she always cooks. That's always a good thing as well, always cook and make a cup of tea. But I always find that you've made your own mind up. You've actually talked it out, and just somebody going, yeah, oh... Making the right noises, yeah. So that's my only advice on giving
Next time I'm
advice.
getting advice off you and you're going, I think she's not listening.
OK, time for our first...